This edition of Inside TMPD focuses on heroin. Heroin is a growing problem throughout Wisconsin and the Fox Valley. So exactly what is heroin? Heroin is an opiate and a highly addictive drug that produces an intense euphoric high. Heroin typically comes in powdered form, pure heroin being a white powder. However, law enforcement typically encounters gray-colored or brown-colored heroin, and that all depends on what that heroin is cut or mixed with. Heroin can be smoked, snorted, or injected. So what happens when you use heroin? The first use produces an intense euphoric rush, which leads to a pretty significant crash, leading to a vicious cycle of use to get that next fix just to feel normal again. Heroin users typically inject the heroin as that produces the greatest effect. The use of heroin can lead to infections, collapsed veins, infectious diseases, and ultimately death. Over the last 4 years, we have seen a spike in heroin deaths in Winnebago County. Emergency medical services are becoming well versed in treating heroin overdoses. The main key is that we need to have EMS notified immediately and to start CPR on the person. EMS carries a drug called naloxone or Narcan that essentially reverses the effects of a heroin overdose. As you can see, the usage of Narcan in Winnebago County has greatly increased over the last 4 years. These are all deaths that have been avoided. As we all know, heroin is illegal, and law enforcement is encountering it nearly on a weekly basis. Again, over the past 5 years, the amount of submissions to the state crime lab for seized heroin have just about doubled each year. Another concern of the use of heroin is discarded needles. These needles are being discarded in parks, playgrounds, and on the side of the road. So what can you do to address this problem? There are 2 things you can actually do. One is to avoid the problem, and the other is to address the problem. Obviously, we want to avoid the problem, and that leads to talking with our teens. Take opportunities to talk with your teens about drug use and denormalize some of those behaviors. Oftentimes, the abuse of prescription medication leads to people trying heroin, and that talk needs to include that. Heroin is a problem that has come into the Fox Valley, and it is going to take a community effort to eradicate it. Until next time.